Hi guys, so in today's video we're going to make the patches you probably saw there in the thumbnail. I want to make it very simple. There are a lot of things you can pick up and make better patches or more sophisticated or more nuanced, but I think today, I was going to use patch twill, but then I thought, or just twill, there's isn't patch twill. I do have some patch twill that's quite expensive that I'm not going to use until I have more, practice under my belt here, but I think even to make it even more accessible, I'm going to use felt, okay? So this is just felt. I'll link in the description box. It's just, pretty much everything I'm showing you today will be linked to Amazon other than maybe the machine I'm using. But this will be applicable to any machine that you have, embroidery machine. So we're going to use a few things. I'm going to talk about some of them now. We're going to go over to the computer to design something real quick. And what I mean to design is just throw a couple things together. I'm not digitizing. I don't know how to do that. I'm not probably won't be doing that. I probably will leave that to other people. I'll just buy, designs, but we're going to try something out. So what I also plan to do in this video is I'm going to review this Brothread huge bundle. I think it's 80 embroidery threads package or bundle. So I'll link all these things in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So thanks for using those if you would like. Again, easy way to get there, but also great for the channel to keep it going. So there it is. They put our addresses all over everything, so I'm trying to show you guys these things as I can. So we'll use embroidery thread, obviously. In the last video I showed you that I switched my needle out on my machine to a 65/9, 70/11 I think is the other size that's good for embroidery. So whatever it is that you want to use, go for it. Definitely for badges, you do want like a thinner needle because you don't, it's going to go over the same areas many times, especially if you're doing the kind that totally make its own background. I'm not going to do that today. That one's, I've done it the other day. I actually should bring it to show you. I will do that. But it goes in the same areas so many times that you might just poke through, whatever it is that you're using. So you definitely want to use a thinner needle. I think when I did my first ones, I just used the regular needle that's on your, just a sewing needle, and it was fine, but you never know. So it's recommended to use a thinner needle, so like a 65/9 or 70/11. I think that's the other size name. So when you're making patches or badges, depends on what you're going to use it, how you want to use it, what you're going to put it on, all these things. Actually, I didn't bring out my sticky stuff for the back of it, but we'll do that in just a moment. So you can watch tons of videos. People use tear away. They use the wash away kind of stuff. They use plastic sheeting that you can buy at like Home Depot, which is great. I'll do that later. Right now, I don't know how tricky that is because if it totally pokes through as you're working, that's going to be a bummer. So I would wait on that. It just depends what it is that you want to do or how you want to do it or the amount of money you want to spend. Some of these things cost less or more. Cutaway stabilizer, So today I'm going to use cutaway stabilizer because I think a lot of us have that in our stash anyway. So I just want to show you this tear away, and I have other things that look like this. So inside I put TA for tear away on both sides so I can see it very easily. This is another one that's recommended for badge making. It's great. It's H2O Gone White FSL 12. Well, this one's a 12-inch by 25-yard roll. I did get this from Amazon. It's super stable. That's what it's called. Great for making badges, or it's free like standalone like lace type things. So you wash it away, it goes away. So it says a freestanding lace. I don't know, leaving no residue and all that good stuff. So yeah, it does say in humid climates film stabilizers will sag, leading to the loss of hooping tension and leading to loss in definition. But this won't do that because it's more of a fabric kind of feel. But it does wash away. You can use that. Like I said, you always want some kind of stabilizer. The other day I used this Brothread stabilizer. It worked really well. Again, they put my address right on top, so I'm trying to tear it away so I know what's in here. And I know I don't have any other ones that look like this, but cutaway white, 2.5 ounce, 12 by 10 inch. So I'm probably going to use this guy, although a tear away is nice, but then if you think about it, it's going to tear away. So if you tear away the edges, of your patch, cool. Everything else underneath is kind of encompassed, or like there's a lot of thread under there holding it together, but depending on the type of patch you're making, it might also fall apart. And then you're sticking your heat element, your little glue on the back of that. In the long term, don't you think it's going to start ripping off because you had that tear away back there? So things like that is what I keep in mind, or even that plastic sheeting that people are using. I'm like, okay, there's a piece of plastic back there, and then you're going to stick your heat stuff to it. Some people remove the plastic as much as they can. Some people just leave it. And then you're going to wash it possibly, and isn't it going to be like sweaty and gross in there? I mean, I don't know if it would attribute to like mildew or anything. It just seems weird. I feel like everything has its drawback. Okay, even the wash away, that's great, but then it's going to wash away and you're not going to have that stability left behind. So I don't know, it's whatever you want, you know. Everyone has their preference. Today I'm going to make it very simple. I had picked up this twill at Hobby Lobby. It's nothing special. Like I said, I have patch twill. It's thick. It has like a backing, so it's like super thick, right? But for me, that's when I know what I'm doing better and I'm not just trying things out. So I did pick up this white twill. This is just twill. They have chambray twill. They were out of it that day. I really wanted it, like jean. You can definitely do badges, you know, make your badges on jean material, on like canvas, on like just thicker stuff, right? Whatever it is that you want. But to make it easy today, a lot of people do use fleece. I had this piece laying there. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just use this fleece. Felt. I suppose you could do fleece too. I mean, you can embroider on or make patches out of anything. It's just what you would want. I did find tons of free images and patches. Actually, I'll show you where, so that way if you want to just try them out without like designing your own and putting some together. Embrilliance has a lot of free downloads, and they do say you have to download in BE. But what's nice about that, this BX and BE with Embrilliance, is that they let you use that for free, even if you're using Express mode, like their free Express mode, the most basic mode. They let you put those things on there and use them anyway. So that's really nice. But it also gives you a feel of how their, you know, patterns work or how their program works, which, to be honest, I'm liking Embrilliance a lot more. But in the free Embrilliance, you can't just use any designs. You can use fonts that are in BX. You can't just bring in designs for free, okay? So you have to buy like their essentials or something else. In my Sonnet, in the last video, I'll link in the description box, you can use obviously designs, but you can't really type up fonts, okay? You have to bring the letters one at a time. So I'm using a mixture of both of those if I want to do that. I do my wording, save it in Embrilliance, and then I bring that file into my Sonnet, and then I work around it or however, or add it at the end, whatever it is, but I bring my words in later. So just something to think about, but definitely, obviously, I'm going to have to get a program at some point. Not because my machine runs on a program, it doesn't. A lot of machines don't. You do the USB, but where are you getting the files for the USB, right? So you're going to have to work somehow. So right now, we're doing free things. We're doing easy things. I want to review this Brothread. So I'll probably, like I said, I'm going to use this felt, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to put this up. I'm not going to use this today, but I would want to. I really want to, so maybe in the next one. And then I'll show you how to make a patch that's just literally its own, it makes its own fabric, because this one I'm just going to put some images on here and then basically have a satin stitch around it. I mean, that's basically what makes a patch. Or a marrow stitch, which there are different companies that sell programs that make a marrow stitch, which looks nicer. It's very cool, but I know Embrilliance does have some free patches that do have a marrowed edge. I don't know if you can actually print it out that way. It might have to be a satin edge if you don't have the program. I don't know. Even though it's a free file, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to adapt to being more basic. So anyway, so we're going to use that today to make it easy. Might use some basting spray, so maybe get to have some basting spray ready. Let's look at the colors in this kit. So what I'm going to do is compare these to sulky threads, which I have, I think, enough sulky that I can make it kind of comparable, like the colors of those with these guys. And, you know, don't buy your threads when they're not 50% off, 60% off, you know, buy one, get one or whatever, because even though sulky thread is expensive, it goes a long way, and I don't think they're that expensive, guys, in my mind. But when you're getting 80 of them for, you know, $36 or $40, I mean, that's obviously much better than paying a couple dollars or a few dollars for each spool. So let's see what we have here. 80 spools color chart. Again, I bought this there on Amazon. They do have different sizing as far as how many is in here, but the 80 pack is like the best value, and they have like 60 and 40 and things like that. So you have your white, black, gold, I mean pink all the way down here, beige, brown. I mean, this is literally everything you would need. I know sometimes when you go thread shopping, you grab the pretty colors, but there are colors sometimes you need that may not, you know, draw your attention when you're like, oh, I need this for like a little bit of skin tone or like a little something over here, you know? So it's good to have all these different shades, even if they're not shades that you think are like super pretty. Brothread customer service card. These thread nets are free gifts. Oh, cool. You can wrap the net outside the spool, like left a photo will prevent thread from unwinding, no loose ends or thread tails. What's cool about these guys is that, oh, and they gave us a ton. So it's so funny. Whenever I bought a Singer machine, they always give you one of these things, and they probably cost like 0.2, you know, I don't even know, of a penny, but they give you one. So these guys gave us a ton of these free. So what I like about these, and I'll show you in just a moment, well, actually I'll open it up, is a lot of times your thread is unwinding and is going into your machine, and that's fine, but sometimes you'll have trouble or it'll get caught underneath the spool or something weird. So what you do is you just take these guys and you put them on there, and it doesn't hurt anything. It's better than not. And even as big as this is, that's fine. So you get your little thread out, right, and you're going to put it into your machine. But before you do that, pull the end. Get one of these guys on here, and it just helps the thread come out in a nicer fashion, right? So I like that they gave us tons of them. That's cool. I will say these feel thicker than the other ones. I think the other ones have a finer feel to them, but that's really nice. Okay, I mean, they look like this. I don't know, how many yards are in here? 40 weight, 500 meters. Okay, meters. So 500 yards, basically. Isn't that the same thing? Anyway, like a meter and yard. Anyway, roughly, I don't know, 500 meters, let's just say, leave it at that. 100% polyester, so they're polyester. Some of mine are polyester, some of mine are rayon, some are viscose, whatever, different materials. 40 weight is generally what the sulky ones are. I know you can find different ones. As far as the bobbin thread, I'm going to leave it white probably because I'm using white felt and I'm going to use a white border. I was kind of curious as far as how white this felt is. And also how white this is. I didn't think it was that white. You can see it's a little bit creamy. But see how bright that looks compared to this? I think it probably is better with this one anyway. And I would probably look for an off-white or a creamy one to match that. Or just go with a different color edge. It doesn't have to be white. It doesn't have to match. But, whatever you want. So, okay. I mean, what else can I say about that? There's threads. They look like this. So what I'm going to do is design the same patch twice. Like design it and then copy and paste it. And to make it so that the machine isn't just going to go from doing one to the other, so I can switch out my colors so that this badge is all sulky and this badge is all Brothread. We can compare it. I'm going to have to change the colors in the program, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. This is interesting. It's like tied to itself. Weird. Okay, there it goes. There's like a little loop that they kind of looped it back and then put this through. So just kind of give it a pull so that loosens up, and then there's your thread end or whatever. It feels nice. Honestly, for being 40 weight, this one feels thicker than some of my other 40 weight ones. I have been using some of the 40 weight which is just, when you look things up, the weight part, 40, 60, yeah, okay. And you're looking for embroidery thread, even the one they sell like at Hobby Lobby, it's 99 cents, it's actually, and I've been using it and it looks great, so I don't know. But I will definitely have to, find my colors that I'm going to be using. I mean, this has a ton of colors. I'm going to have to find a way to store this because I don't know that just having them in here is the best thing. But let's move this guy. And there's your next row. So it looks like there's 40 and 40. And I mean, I'll just be able to kind of see the color and pull it out whenever I would like. Maybe it's okay to stay in here. I don't know. But down here you have your little off-white, black. This one's more like a gray black. So they're all there. This is a gray. This is kind of like a bright white. It looks like there's two of them. Look, number one, which is fine. I do like to have a lot of white and black, so if there's repeats of those two, I'll be okay with that. But that's weird because doesn't this chart, let's see. Oh, and it's telling you, so the Brothread color is number one, like in the white, Janome color, number one, and then Robinson Anton colors. I don't really have thread of either one of these, but I'm just going to use the same kind of thing. Like if I use white, I'm going to grab a white one from my sulky or whatever, and go from there. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so it does have 78, probably 2 white and 2 black is what I'm assuming, because there's 78 colors on here, but there's 80 spools. So, there you go. Alright, so let's go and design a patch. So again, I'm going to use this stuff, just white bobbin thread. I don't care what brand it is, whatever is wound up on my bobbin thread right now. Embroidery bobbin thread is much thinner than regular bobbin thread, or because regular bobbin thread, usually you match the top thread, it's the same as your bobbin thread, so obviously they're the same weight. But embroidery bobbin thread is really thin because you're going to do this so much that you just want something thinner back there, right? So we're going to use felt, we're going to use some basting spray, and I'm going to use cutaway stabilizer just to make it easy and not have any issues with like, oh. So essentially we're making an applique badge. So what it's going to do, the machine, when I go over there, it's going to do a placement stitch on, I'm just going to hoop up my cutaway stabilizer on the hoop. It's going to do a placement stitch. So now I know where my circles go. it's going to, then I'll put my little, and you can just put a little piece of fabric. That's what's nice about this kind of thing, because you don't have to hoop up the whole fabric and waste so much. You can just put fabric in that little general area with a little basting spray. It's going to do your tack down, so it's going to hold your applique, your circle, and then you're going to cut around, right? You're going to remove the hoop, you're going to cut around that circle. I'm going to do 2 of them because we're going to compare them at the same time. And then the next thing it's going to do is start doing your design. So it's a nice way of saving your materials, but also making a little badge. So it's going to be small because I'm just going to use my 4-inch hoop and see what we can do. So that, and then like I said, cutaway stabilizer, which is this one here. I'm just going to take a sheet out. I actually have some, I think, left from another project that I don't have to cut down on this, but these are inexpensive. They're already cut in sheets, and that'll work. So let's go to the computer and design a quick little badge kind of thing, and hope for the best is what I always say. I will say, since I've been doing more and more embroidery, I don't really have broken threads or these kinds of things, so that's great. You know, you just kind of get used to your machine, learn it, and go from there. But let's go to the computer and let's do a little designing. Okay guys, so I told you that I want to show you on Embroidered's site where you can get some free things just to get started. You know, you want to try it out. So this is just embroidered.com. You're going to look on the left side here and you can click on projects. And like this month they have a free October design with a Halloween theme, and it's just in a stitch design, but what's cute is that all these little individual elements you can, you know, isolate in your programs or just don't stitch it, right? So sometimes if you have a very basic program, oh, 40 people are viewing this page right now. Anyway, if you have a very basic program and it goes to like, oh, now you're going to do October, and then you're like, well, I don't want to do October. So just don't thread it. Skip to the next thing, right? Or whatever, if you want just to isolate like this or the pumpkin or whatever. So you saw I just clicked on there. They're telling you some stuff. So everything comes with like some instructions, so you're learning. And then down right here, just click download the free October zip design. It goes to your downloads and you open it up just like you do any other time. What I want to show you is I just went through literally got this one, got this one, got this one. I got everything free. Even this varsity mama patch design is free. You know, all these things. And I just kept going. Didn't care for that one, so I didn't download that. I downloaded all the months. This Joy Buffalo Plaid design, very cute. You can just click on the, you know, the article and download. This Thankful Blessings, they're teaching you how to create a cut or a knockout design. It's my birthday. You can download that whole thing. If you keep going next, they're round to it, dad joke. So when someone says they haven't gotten around to it, you can give them that and say, oh, now you have around to it, right? They got around to it. Okay, anyway, not very super cheesy, super cheesy. Cute things like this design, and you can manipulate these numbers. So it's like, oh, that's your home's, you know, with coordinates, I guess, whatever that is. This one's super cute. So free conversation heart. So just click on that. It's telling you all about it. You can even manipulate the wordings. Obviously it has to be something very small and quick, but like this is a patch and that's what it looks like. And this is a free thing. So download the conversation patch heart design here. Click it, you download it, right? Okay, great. It is a BE format. So it tells you here that it works with BX files and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when you go into Embroidered, I'm just going to show you this real quick because I'm not trying to do that. I'm just going to continue. Again, I haven't bought it. So this is the free Express mode, which you can also download right over here where it says Express mode free. You can download it right there. So now I've already downloaded all these things. If I click A, they give you a free font that you can work with. But again, I've already shown you guys in the past how to add your fonts. I am so sorry in my previous video where I showed you how to use a font here and then bring it to my Sonnet. For whatever reason, my fonts weren't uploading whenever I downloaded or added them. Here's the fairy one that I was trying to add. I think it's just because I have a bunch of things open on my computer. It was just taking a long time. So I just added all the new fonts. I got 50 of them on Etsy for, you know, $7.50 or whatever. And here's where I can play with that if I wanted to, right? So Halloween news, let's say. So there it is. And then here's where you type like what you want. If you want to say Miranda or something. This is very big, but okay. So that would say Miranda. Obviously you can change your hoop size by just changing it and that's fine. Generally I think you're supposed to be able to click on this to change your hoop size, but this is the free one, so it doesn't work that way. I had to go and change it. Okay, I don't care about this. I don't really want that, so I'm going to delete it. What I'm trying to show you is how you can use those free items. So right here there's this little funky shape or like gear. It says merge design from the library. So if I click on that, here are some things I've brought in already from Embroidered. Here are some things that are already there. These are the ones I brought in like for free. So Once I add them here, they will be there, but they're not there right now. So I have to get out of here. Let me show you if I've downloaded. I know I downloaded them, but so free embroidery downloads. I think, yeah, free and brilliance designs. I made myself one just for that. So if I come over here and if they're downloaded right, heart, heart, freebie, heartbeat, no. I'm telling you, I downloaded so many things. I just went through the all like the last years of the free things that they'll give you. I'm trying to see if I had the little patch. Some of them are in a folder and some are just like this. That's the other thing. I don't know. I might have downloaded somewhere else. Okay, let's just pick anything. This is fruit patches. These are little patches too, so let's just do that. And I opened it up, and now I'm going to just highlight them all. And I'm going to drag them. Oh, no. Okay, highlight them all. And, oh my goodness. Sometimes this happens with your computer. Okay, fine. I'll do one at a time. So you just drag it, and when you drop it in, they'll let you use it. So my banana's on top of the... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to move the whole design. There we go. Sorry. And isn't that interesting that they're separate? Which is actually really cool. Again, you can design this however you want, so you can mess with these guys. So there's the little patches, and then, you know, you can see here, I need that out of the way. I totally messed that up, guys. Sorry. But anyway, everything's all separate now, but whatever. Okay, let's just pretend. So that's how you get your free ones. Obviously, I messed this thing up. It's okay. And then you would save it as whatever file and then send it to your machine, right? Take it to on your USB. Okay, so I'm not going to really do much more of this. I just wanted to show you how if you get free files from them, that's how you use them, even if you don't have whatever they need you to have for this, right? Now I'm like, where is my little guy? I think my little sweetheart patch. I don't know. I think I put it over here before I came here. It might be also named something else, but I think I put it here somewhere. Anyway. All right. So that's one way. I'm going to go to my Sonnet because I'm going to make my own thing. Blank project. I'm going to say next. And I'm going to use a small hoop. And so a couple things. If you don't really know the size of your little, like what you want to use, a lot of times, you know, I'll buy a program and or a design that says like, oh, 3 centimeters to whatever. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And honestly, you're supposed to be able to change this hoop, I think, into inches. I don't know how to do that because over here it'll show up in centimeters, and I'm sorry I haven't figured that part out yet, but not the biggest deal. So for me, sometimes what I like to do is bring in the design and then I'll bring in the patch. Again, it's an applique circle. I just bought some applique circles from Etsy, super cheap, because I can't do that here. If this was not the free one, yes, you can definitely do applique real easy. They know what you mean when you say you want a circle. Okay, satin stitch, applique, all those things you can choose. Just like when you're making a font, you can choose those different things, and it'll know that it needs a placement stitch, it needs a tack down, and it needs the satin stitch. So that's great. But right now, since I'm just doing things on the cheap, I'm not sure that I want to buy my Sonnet. I probably won't. I think I'm tending towards Embrilliance as far as a program. I want to do some stuff. So I wanted to show you, I did recently buy some cute things from Designs by JuJu. I bought them yesterday, and they're $1 today. So yesterday I bought these for $1.25. Okay, my bad. They're better pricing today. So I wanted to download some of these things, and to be honest, I think I'm going to do this. Well, I just got these because I knew they were going to be small, like for a patch or badge. I thought it would be cute. So again, when you go to download, Singer does DST and they do XXX. They might do VP3. I don't really recall. I feel like you can save it as that, but anyway. But for sure XXX and DST. So, you know, whatever it is that you want to download your things in, just, I'm going to click, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll do XXX. I am being sent a machine that I know does DST. So if I download things in DST, I can use it on my Singer. I can use it on this other machine that I'm receiving soon for review. So, you know, it's probably better that I download things that way. But anyway, it's right here, Christmas miniatures. I don't really have to even open it up right now, but of course you can open it and do whatever. So let's go back to here. So I'm going to go File, and I'm going to Insert. Remember, if you say Open, it's going to open a new page. You want to Insert, and I was already playing here, so they know that I was looking at these before. But let's go back to Desktop. Downloads, actually. Christmas miniatures. Did I already download these twice? I guess I did. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you want to get, open it up. I downloaded XXX, and I can also look at what they look like, but I can't click on that right now because it wants to look for XXX files. You know, we can make this really easy. I was going to do a few different things. I was going to do like a penguin, but maybe it's better just to make it super simple with something like this. I don't think Miranda wants that. I think, let's go back. I'm still going to download a different little guy. I was going to do this little guy. I think he's cute. So let's just do that guy. Say open. Okay. It looks pretty big on here, but this is a 4-inch area, right? So you can imagine this is 2 and 2 inches. So again, roughly 2.5 inches per centimeter. So like from here to here, that's an inch, if you can imagine, right? So you kind of want to keep that in mind and think, okay, if I bring in a circle, maybe I want a 2-inch or 2.5-inch circle. And these circles that I purchased, again, I'm going to do insert. I'm going to go find them. I bought them on Etsy, and I just wanted applique shapes, applique frames, filled circles. The filled circle is the one that stitches its own circle with a satin stitch if you want to make your whole background, but I'm going to use felt, and I don't want to stitch on that. I guess I could. You can still do this on felt. Right now it's an applique shape, and the applique is going to be the felt circle. So I'm just going to do that. I mean, a heart is cute. I have all these different shapes. A star would be cute, but rounded corner rectangle. I mean, they don't have to be a circle, but let's make it a circle today. And let's try 2 inches. It might be too small. I might have to come back and... oh, I can highlight this as DST or XXX. When I bought these on Etsy, they just give you all of them. They're not like, oh, pick the one you want to download. So there you go. Oh my goodness. And he fits in there perfectly. Now, I talked to you guys about, let me take a quick pause, make sure we're recording. Okay, I'll be right back. I tell you guys, I can go on for days about this stuff. It's so exciting. But anyway, so I talked to you guys about resizing things. Like, if I took this and I stretched it like this really big, you can see the edges of that do not look nice, right? So some people say a rule of thumb, and to undo this, I'm on a Mac. It looks very similar to if you're on PC, but to undo this, I'm going to right click and I'm going to do undo scale design. I'm telling you, you're going to want to know that information because for whatever reason, it's very difficult to find that information. Is that you can resize maybe about 20%, meaning just a little bit without it looking weird or gapping or your structures just don't look good anymore. So either here I can shrink this little guy or I can make the circle a little bit bigger, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. I will say another thing. When you're doing applique, like right now, I'm going to put this on there. It's going to give me my stitch. It's going to give my placement. Then I'm going to cut around my tack down. If you have dies that are 2 inches, 2.5, 3 inches, you can definitely run your fabric through with a die. Use that. It's going to cut perfectly and then place that into your little area, right? So right now I'm pulling this. That's going to be a custom circle because it's not 2 inches and it's not 2.5. It's like 2.013 or something, right? So just something to think about. And it might affect my satin stitch a little bit, but not enough to be like, oh, that's a bummer, right? So right now I have that highlighted. I'm kind of just going like this. What I'm going to do is right click right now that I have the circle highlighted, and I'm going to, actually, I'm not going to right click. I'm going to go up to design, sorry guys, and I'm going to go to layout order, okay? Same thing on your computer if you have a PC. I'm going to move it to back. You can either move backwards or move to back. I want this guy to be the very first thing we stitch. If you don't move to back, it's possible that it's going to want to stitch this little guy first and then those things, and that's kind of a pain. Okay. So, then I have this little guy. Fine. And basically there's nothing behind him because you're going to put fabric there. We're going to put felt there, right? I want this to be one piece. And for whatever reason, I used to be able to, and it seemed like it worked, I can click on this, box select, to select everything, and I highlight everything. And see how it barely does what it's supposed to do. What I've learned is if you click on that, you have to catch the whole image or it just only catches part of it. So see, I click both of them. And I can click group, and I feel like, oh, that should make it move around, just like any other computer thing you do. No. What you have to do, because now I can't really move it. It does group it, but not in a way that you can move it around. So what you want to do is go to design. See how you can group, ungroup, reveal groups. Combine all. And that puts it all together. Now you see my colors over here are all together in a list, right? And because I sent the circle to back, it's here. A lot of times, if even, you know, because I brought it in second to the image, it's going to put those things at the end, and then you're like, oh, no, I want that to stitch first. And then right now, what we can do is go to preview, and you can preview what that looks like. It looks like this, and when I press play, it's going to do my placement stitch. This is what it's showing you, and they're all different colors, and to be honest, that's fine, because you want it to stop every time. You don't want it to just continue. And then it's going to do the, that next one is after you do your placement stitch. You know what's interesting about this? I want the placement stitch twice, but that's okay. It's going to do this kind of thing. And then you're going to cut away your felt after this one. Now, if I had a better system, I could tell it that I want it to do the that first one, the placement stitch twice. But this is what it did. Now, I might have to get around that some way. I don't really like having this guy and then cutting it away. It's just the way this person designed it. So now it's going to do the satin stitch. Okay, great. And then after it does the satin stitch, it's going to do the penguin's face, like this background, the face, the this, the that, all these different pieces, right? That one's very interesting, that little messiness. I don't know if I like it, but I guess we're going to let it go. And then that's it. Okay, so that is essentially a badge or a patch or whatever. It just depends on what you're using behind it or with it. Okay, so if I was to move this, see, it's one thing because we combined all. But now I want to make the exact same thing, but I'm going to change the colors on it so that we can compare between Sulky and Brothread. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy. What's funny is I'm going to say paste, and it still pastes it over here on top of itself. So just know that. And I'm going to bring it down over here so he has his own little area. And this guy has his own little area. But see how everything's moving around together? I do not know how to undo the combine all. I'm going to tell you right now, you see I'm highlighting this. If I go to design, it already says combine. Oh, if I click it now, it's going to combine everything, and we don't want that. But other than that, it will not uncombine the one little thing. I don't know how to do it. I've tried different ways. Like, I don't see it. So just know once you combined all, at least on this free one, that like you're done. Okay, I want to change up some colors here. So like this blue, I don't want it to be the same blue as this one, or teal, because the machine's going to go here and then it's going to come here. But I don't want that. I want it to do things separately because I need to change out my threads in a way that makes sense. So this is going to be a pain because I'm going back and forth because I want to for this to be different. So I'm just going to go in and change all these colors to something else that's not here. And to be honest, I can just, you know, pick some really basic colors like silver, steel. Okay, cool. That's the placement one. This is your tack down. I'm just going to change it to another color that's not part of like the penguin. Okay, I did whatever I did. Let's say pearl gray. I don't think I did that one. When I go to my machine, I'm going to do these all white, so I don't care what color it says right now. So now the blue one, I just highlighted it. I'm going to click on the little palette, and I'm going to change that to another weird color, and I'm just sticking to these colors knowing that they aren't used somewhere else. So silvery gray. Okay? So I should have shown you. If I said preview, and they were still both blue and all that, it was going to do this one, and then it was going to do this one, and then it's going to do this one, and then it's going to do this one. But now that I changed the colors, it's going to do that, it's going to do that, it's going to do that. Great, it's going to start working on this guy, and see how they're the same color? It's going to come down here. I don't want that. So earlier it would have done the same here, same here, same here, same here, same here, so, you know. And now we have all this stuff. Okay. So close that. So I'm going to continue working with this guy and changing all the colors. You just saw how I do it. I don't want to belabor it for you guys. So I'm going to go into the black and change that to a crazy color. It doesn't matter. I know what I'm going to do when I get to my machine, right? So the face is white, but I need it to be a different white from that face. So, you know, I'm just going to choose another one. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Just making sure it's a different color than this guy, which I think it is. Let's see what they have for the white. Let's see. Yeah, they used aspen white, so I used eggshell over here. Okay, so I'm going to go into the red and change that up. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys, so I think I changed everything out. So let's check. Like I said, you probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing because there's no reason for you to have different colors here and different colors there, but maybe you want to, I don't know, change things up. But either way, I'm just showing you some different things to keep in mind, right? So let's do a preview. And I'm going to fast forward it, so it's going to do... That's so weird to me. I don't like this being the tack down, because you're supposed to trim this away afterwards. So I think what I'm going to do whenever I run it on my machine to show me kind of where it's going to stitch, I'm going to let that tack down, that first placement one be a tack down. And I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to let this go. Because that just looks better, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's just learn from it this time, because see how close that satin stitch is? If I cut my felt right here and it's still kind of out, I wouldn't like that. I'd rather... I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to know what you want to do. So anyway, we'll see. Alright, so here we go. And then it's going to do the little face and everything in there. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to finish up, and then it should move over to this one. Now we're going to concentrate on this one. I went really fast, obviously. Tack down placement, tack down, satin stitch, and then everything else. Very good. And some people you'll see will do the face and everything first and then want the tack down. If that's what you want, which I don't see why you would do that, to be honest, just make sure that the frame, this little circle, is moved to front, because that means do that last, which is kind of weird. Alright, I guess we're ready, guys. Okay, so up here, real quick, I'm going to save this because I think it's cute, and maybe I'll need it for another time, but either way, I'm going to save it. It's basically saving the file right now. It doesn't care about your type or whatever. I'm just going to say penguin patches 2-inch, right? Because they're 2-inch. I'm going to save on the desktop, but really I want to save it under My Designs, but not My Designs, My Embroidered. See here? That's where I want to save it. Not My Designs, because that's like, I don't even know what that is. That's a My Sonnet thing. I've gone to their website to see, like, where is this cloud? Where can I get it? And it's like, not there. But it will be here. When I say, like, open a new one, it'll be listed there among my things. Okay, so that is just saving the design file, basically, so I can come back later and mess with it, whatever. Anytime I click Save Now, it's going to save it. It's not going to ask me anything because it knows that's the design file. What we want to do now is export, right? So let's export, which is funny because it does say, you know, it's a save kind of thing, but it's export. I do have my USB popped in. I do want it as XXX, but again, if your machine uses PEC, PES, pick whatever it is that you need, and it'll save it for you. This is just a program, guys. It doesn't mean it has to be a Singer, okay? So, remove overlap doesn't really matter for this one because we're doing a... That doesn't matter. So again, I've told you I don't know what it does if you click or click. To me, what that means is the stitches that are underneath this head shouldn't be stitched. You might want that for a badge that's like an infill where you're just stitching everything, and then you still want this on top. Sometimes you don't want that because it might cut into those things, you know. I don't know. But anyway, I just leave this alone. Whatever it says, fine. And then I say continue. And it's going to ask me where, and I'm going to say onto my USB. And I already have a bunch of stuff on there that I probably need to remove. And that's it. So now it's going to say Penguin Patches 2-inch exported when it goes into my USB when I go to my machine. So essentially now all I need to do is hoop and stitch this out, guys. So let's go to my machine. I mean, that's it. At this point, you can just close this. I will show you what I mean, though. Let's say I close this. And let's say I want to reopen it, and I can do a blank project, a new one, but here's my penguin patches. So if I say there it is, I say next, it'll pull up my file. Again, it's not a stitching file, it's just this file at this point because I can mess with it now again. I can do all the same stuff I was doing before. Okay, let's go. Oh, guys, before we go real quick, you know I can't leave good enough alone. I did want to show you when I was in Brilliance, I just pulled it up because I was like, where is my conversation heart? If not, I'll order it again, or not order it, but download again. When I came in here, these guys were in here because I've already used these. But again, it wasn't here and it wasn't here because that's different things. I can click on import catalog and it actually pulled it up on my desktop, but I went ahead and opened up my free Brilliance designs because that's what I called this file. So now I can go here and the things that are highlighted means you can use them. So as you can see, I have some other stuff that maybe I can't use because for whatever reason. I can use these elsewhere. I don't know how to explain it, but here's Be Mine, right? It has the BX and I can open it and it has been installed. Okay, and there it is. So if I want to use that one, I think I just have to click on it and say okay. Yeah, and now it's there. And so that's my patch, right? And supposedly you can change these letters out. So there it is right there, and you can type, I know, I don't know. Love, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if that works. And then, so hold on. So I just put love, yeah. and then you click set, and it changes it. Isn't that cool? And that's a free design. Okay, and then again, save it, you know, to the file type you need and all that kind of stuff. Send it to your USB or just save it in your files or whatever you're going to do with it. So, okay, guys, now let's go to the machine. Okay, guys, so it is a dark fall day, so it might be a little gloomy in here, but anyway, just, you know, I already put my USB in here, over here. I put this big old thing on it so we wouldn't lose it. It's a single USB, but you can use any USB 2.0 or whatever, and it works fine. So, let's turn the machine on. Making sure there's nothing around, really. The machine's gonna ask you, like, hey, take the frame off, if the frame is there. Let me get my tortilla warmer out of the way. Okay, so I'll say okay. You just don't want anything in the way of this thing, right, as it moves. And then it's gonna make sure that your presser foot is up. If it was down, it's gonna tell you to pick it up, and it's already up, so it's there. All we're gonna do is hoop up the stabilizer. So again, this is cutaway. You're gonna have to cut it away. It looks a little messier, but we're just starting from, you know, let me go and tighten that. And like I said, this isn't really for you to ratchet. I know I mentioned that at the beginning. In my old Futura machine, I think it was a sturdier frame system. Similar stuff, but don't use this to help you like tighten it afterwards. You're just using that to help you release it. So when you're done, that's a release, great, but don't use it to tighten your fabric. I can cut this down, and I probably will, because I don't need all of this, but, you know, just put it on here the way you think conserves your stuff the best. I think this is fine like this, so I'll trim it down. You can just leave it hanging there. It's not going to bother anything. And I'm not really taking the time to go over and hoop it up the way I normally show you guys, because I'm just going to do that and then pop this on top. Okay? Because we're essentially using this to stitch on now. The last thing I did was a sweater, so this thing is like really stretched out. So I'm going to take a moment to turn. This could be water soluble, this could be tearaway, this could be that plastic sheeting people use, but just make sure, you know, you don't have any issues here. You can obviously put it on a table so it's nice and flat. It looks pretty good to me, but let me just make some adjustments just to make sure everything's good. That sounds good, and I'll be right back. I think it's nice and tight. I mean, I can probably get it a little tighter, but there it is. If you want to put your felt on it right now, you could do that, but there's no reason to do it because we're going to cut around it. It's applique, so I'm going to cut around it. One other thing I was going to say is, remember how I didn't really like the way it only does a placement and then the tack down is like this, like the zigzag? You can run the placement stitch twice because you can do whatever you want with your machine, but I think for the first one I'll let it go. We'll see what that looks like, and then maybe for the second one I'll run it twice and cut that way. But for right now, basically it's going to do one patch at a time because of the colors differences. Oh, let's not even do that. So let's go over here. Let me get a little closer for you guys. I'll be right back. So I'm here. I went to design. Let me go back home. So I went to this. Otherwise you have fonts, right? And it gives you basically 2 fonts and you can play with that. But that's not what we're looking for. We want this guy. The built-in font does let you type. You cannot bring a font, load it onto your USB, put it in here and think that you're going to be able to type out on here. It won't. It's one letter at a time. Stitches one letter at a time. It's a real pain. Placement, all that's an issue, so I wouldn't even think about that. But anyway, so we're going to do USB because it's the image that I want from there. I will say I was talking to a person who digitizes on Etsy, and he said that he sells his files to not be so dense. He's all, because a lot of times beginners don't know what they're doing and they don't stabilize right, and the more dense it puckers, right? So that made a lot of sense to me because I'm like, oh, this design didn't come out as thick as I would like. And that's why I contacted him, because it's like, oh, if there's anything we can do, you know, we'll make it better, which is really cool. He actually sized my little Sailor Moons even smaller, which that means he gave me a whole full size, plus he also digitized the smaller ones for free. But anyway, that makes a lot of sense because the designs that are on here, like this, you know, the designs that Singer has given you or on the USB, are really kind of basic. I don't know, almost lacy, like just soft, and I can see why. I guess that's the whole point. They're not super thick and like something where, you know, it's going to give you a better result, basically. So just have that in mind, too, when you see these designs and you're like, oh, they're not that great. A lot of companies do that, apparently. So anyway, let's go down. And what did I call it? I don't even remember. Penguin? Penguin patches, 2 question mark. That's fine. So that's the one I want. And I'm going to say, okay. And it's going to do some movements. And it's basically showing me where they are. And that's fine. You know, I've designed this so it's right in the middle of the frame. Let's just make sure we have the right frame size. So I'm going to go over here, the right hoop. It's 100 by 100. It's already there. Great. I'm gonna go back over here. So it should do the one that I want sulky threads first, because that's what that thing told it to do, but I don't really know if this machine understands that or if that's actually what's gonna happen, and we're never gonna know. But what I do is I bring my computer over, and that is your list, right? So let me bring my computer to show you what I mean by that's your list. Okay guys, so I just pulled up my Sonnet because I had closed it. So penguin patches is what I wanted, and I say next. And it's really tiny, so let me make this a lot bigger here. This is the color order. And hopefully in your mind you remember this was, and you can change these colors too, to be honest. If you want, you know, just to, so you know, like, oh, that was a tack down. I don't know what you would say, like white, gray, and black or something. Something just very basic. But again, if you're using the same color as some of these other things, it might think that it needs to do a jump to the black on another part. So that's kind of why I kept the colors pretty separate. Okay, so it should be the first one, should be the sulky ones, right? So I'm going to use white thread, even though white thread is hard to see for the stitch placement, but I don't want it to be too crazy. So what we can do is say, well, we can say play, but I'm gonna pop this in. Actually, let me just wait. No, it should be okay now. You know, when I chose it, you heard the frame move. So I'm gonna pop this in here. Okay, I'm gonna go get white sulky thread to thread in my top thread here, and then we'll go from there. Okay. I think I have enough colors of sulky to do this. I was like, oh, this one's Gutterman. Oh, this one's something else, but this is sulky 40 weight. Okay, put it in the top thread. Okay, guys. Yeah, I was like, did I press record? Okay, so let's just say go. Oh, put the presser foot down. Yeah, that'd be good. It should go. It's so weird. Like, why did it do that tack down there? I don't know. This is the kind of stuff these things do. Okay, let me cut this off. And just keep going. Again, you can just press play. This can be for any machine you have. It's so funny because that top like 2 inches doesn't really do anything, even though this is like 4x6, it really does 4x4. So I'm always like, how's that the middle? But it's the middle of those. So now it wants you to place, right? I'm going to turn this away. I'm not going to change out my color of thread because I want it all to be white. I know it's hard to see that white there, but now what you can do is get your little felt. And honestly, it just has to be enough to cover that area. It doesn't have to be the biggest piece. You don't have to waste everything. And, I mean, this is probably even too big, what I'm doing, but you don't want to make it too small that you mess that up. Okay, cool. I can just float that there, to be honest, but I'm going to put a little bit of basting spray, and usually I would go outside to do this or put it in a box, but you know what? We're just going to do it real quick right here. And this is up. And you know, it just made a little circle. I know you can't see it, but that's what we just talked about. It's right there. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So I'm going to float this into there. Well, not really float it. We're going to place it, especially since we put their spray. It should be okay. I'm just going to put this under here. Again, I'm not switching out anything. So that basting spray is going to help that hold. We're going to put our presser foot down. And I'm just going to press play. Again, you could have switched out the color. I'm letting it do its thing. It's going to do that zigzag, which I think is odd. But, I don't really have to trim that off, to be honest. There's not much left there. And I press play here. Again, whatever your machine wants you to do. I'm going to back up so we can see a little more of the machine itself. Sorry, back up too much. And now it's in that little zigzag all around that circle. And once this happens, this is your applique. We've already done applique, a whole video on just doing applique. I love it. Applique is so much fun. You guys, I have so many in the hoop designs from Designs by JuJu that I want to do with you guys. There's a stocking all in the, literally all in there. It's so cute. Just a lot of different things. So now it tells me to do 3, which if you go back and reference your, you know, your computer, might be a different color, but for me, I'm keeping it all white. Okay, so now that that happened, I'm gonna lift up my press foot. I'm gonna remove this. And I don't have that much white bobbin thread in here, so I'm going to keep an eye on it every time I have to switch out. I think it's enough to finish this guy, but I might have to add more bobbin thread. I don't mind winding bobbins. I know a lot of people like just buy some that are pre-wound. Anyway, so now you have that tack down stitch, and what you're going to want to do is get super close with your applique scissors. These are just curved scissors. I do have applique scissors like the duckbill kind. Get as close as you can without cutting your stitches. Okay? So I'm getting super close, guys. I'm just going to go around the whole thing and then I'll be right back. This is what I was telling you. If you know this is a 2-inch circle and you have a 2-inch, you know, circle die, run it through. A lot of these companies will make folders, or not folders, but downloads or whatever that come with a cutting file for like SVG or for whatever, and you can cut it on your die cutting machine, especially when you have a fun shape, an interesting shape. It might be funner to just cut it out. I will say, like my son, he just went to this Bands of America Regional. This is a patch, and if you see, it has all like nice gluey stuff on the back. We're going to do that to ours today too. They left a little bit around the patch, and you look how perfectly laser cut that is, right? But that's, you know, professional. Not what we're doing here. We're just trying things out. This one has a marrow edge, and that marrow edge is like, it's an extra machine that basically just go after they're done, right? We do not have that. You can do embroidery files that look like it, very close to it, but it's not a true marrowed border, right? But anyway, so that's another one, you know? Just things to look at. You're looking at the back of patches, but let me go ahead and cut around this. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I tried my very best. I went back around, got real close. I mean, it's, you know, it's what it is. So that's why in the next one, I think what I'm gonna do is do the placement stitch, and then I'm gonna repeat the placement stitch once I put my felt down, cut that, and then do this one, because that way it'll get much closer, and we'll see what it looks like. You might need this, you know, for this cutting file. I don't know. I've never used this file before. So what I'm saying is it might account for that little extra, because you want it for like the thickness of the edge. I don't know. Okay, so let's open this up and let's place this. Do not remove this when you're trimming. Do not take it out of your hoop, because then your placement's going to be all off, right? So don't do that. Just leave it on there, trim. And I'm going to keep going, because basically I'm going to use the same, like I said, oopsie, the same thread for this. So let's put that down and then just say we're ready to go. It's going to do a tack down of that. It's going to ask me to trim the excess. Sorry. There we go. And before I continue, and I don't forget, these are some patches I made the other day, but the design was so big. That's why when I contacted the creator of this on Etsy, I was like, hey, can I make them a little smaller? And he made them 2-inch ones, which is really sweet. So I made smaller ones. Well, I have the design ready to go. I haven't stitched it out. Also, this looked really weak, so I did it a second time. You know how I made these patches? I did tearaway stabilizer, and I did cutaway. The reason I did that is because on top, when I tear this away, it's going to look a lot cleaner if I had put cutaway on top. And then the cutaway one for stability. And I mean, they worked out pretty good. Obviously I haven't taken this one out. I just wanted to show you how I did it. That's all I did. I hooped up tearaway. Underneath that is cutaway. And then I just pulled away the tearaway, and I cut the cutaway as close as I can. I haven't even hit this with a heat tool, because a lot of times you hit it with a heat tool to shrink it back. And I mean, it looks really good. I just need to put the stickiness on the back. But look at that. This one was all made by thread. This is all thread. So again, this is a file I bought on Etsy that's just circles that are infilled. That's what I look for. Infill embroidery circle design or whatever. And look at that. I mean, it is so nice. And it comes in like a ton of different sizes. So that's what I did for these guys. The stability is different because there's no twill or fabric or felt or anything holding this together. It's just the thread on the things I just told you. So it came out really nicely. Okay, let's press play. Sorry, I just want to show you those. And now it's going to do the satin stitch, and I'll come back and we'll see how it's going. Guys, that is such a nice file. Look how nice the stitching is. Honestly, if it's not problematic, then I just will do what they tell me, but I feel like I need to remove that little extra on the second one. Like I said, 2 of the placement stitch. We'll see. Fuzziness over here. Obviously when I cut it, when I trim the cutaway, you know, I have to cut it anyway, I'll get closer, but I think we're going to do a little trick for the second one. Again, you can play with these designs and it's whatever you want to do. So as long as you're learning, you're manipulating, you know, just go for it. The next color is black. If I look on here, if you guys remember the little black face, cheek area, or like the head, I guess. So it's right there. It's number 4. It's telling me to go to number 4, right? So that's another way to keep track. You don't have to keep these things in your head. I'm going to go ahead and switch this out to the black sulky thread, and then I'm going to repeat everything on the other one but with the bro threads, right? And we're going to compare. So let me just switch out the thread. I'll be right back. Thread in. Press her foot down. Again, I haven't been taking the time to put this into the little hole, and it's been working okay. I'm going to hold it a little bit right now. And now it's going to ask me to cut the thread end, which is like in here. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm obsessed. Okay, so let's press play, and it should do the little face. So I did like a little area of it. Just laying down some like knockout stitches, which is nice. And then, you know, infill, whatever. It's just stitches displacing to make the image more substantial and just keep it going, you know, nicely. So, okay. This is looking good. I don't know how close I can get. I know the angle might be weird, you know, because I want to show you that and this. And anyway, so from black, the next color is basically the face, the little face portion. So it's white again. I'll probably just go back to the same white I was using because why not? So there you go. I will be right back. Okay, that one's in there. Go here, put this down. I will say, if you have a paid subscription to like the Singer one, you can definitely manipulate the way things are going to sew out. Like when I had to do like send to back or send back or backward, whatever. There is a way to just grab them and move them, but this is the free one, and that's how we're manipulating things, guys. Well, there's a way, well, there's a way. All right, it's doing like some of those punch down stitches for the white area, and then it'll start kind of filling it in. I'm showing what my sulky threads look like. They're like this. I bought this big kit, but it wasn't completely full, so it was like the embroidery starter package. Not inexpensive, guys, but what I've done is I keep them in order. If I buy any other ones, I'll rearrange it. And so all my sulky ones are over here. Over here are like my cheap ones. So sulky's on this side. Generic ones are on this side, or Gutterman, or, you know, what I mean by generic is, well, basically Gutterman or Hobby Lobby brand, or whatever else random thing I might have. Sometimes Coats and Clark. But I still have plenty of room to add more sulky in there, so that's what I've been digging into to get this project done. Such a nice file. I know you can't see it right now, but when you see it, you'll see how nicely and well done it is. Designs by JuJu, I'm telling you, they knock it out. So, sulky, 40 weight, same stuff. The next color is red. Number 6 was red. So I'm going to put this on my top thread. Again, my white bobbin is still there. I don't ever change it out. I'll be right back. This one feels weird. Hopefully it doesn't break. Honestly, it feels really weird. So, red is the next one. Yep, got it. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. It's gonna do the little hat. And yeah, I mean, it's doing okay. It looked really frayed. I haven't used this one before. I had to like unravel it a lot to get it going. So obviously it's a very new spool, but yeah, it's being funny. Okay, we'll see. You guys can see the detail, but the hat has like a little wave pattern in it. I am just so impressed with these things. That's what I'm telling you. Digitizing is not my thing. I would never be able to do that, but that is really cute. The little hat. The next one is gray for the eyes, so I'm gonna use gray. Kind of weird that it'd be gray, but you know, if it's black and black, it's just a way of adding more color. So this is a really like gunmetal gray that I have. Other than that, I only have a very light colored gray. So we're gonna put this one on, and once this is done, it's doing a lot more. Oh, it's doing a nice stitch around. That's what it's doing. You know, some of these little applique guys, honestly, they can be a badge on their own. Sometimes if you look and see if they have a really nice round, you know, satin stitch. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna switch out to gray. Okay, gray is in. Let's go. Probably gonna have a tack down between eyes, which is kind of a bummer because it's a small thing, but that's okay. So I'm gonna let that stitch. Yeah, it's tacking down. It's gonna cut the thread, and it should move over to the next one. And there it goes. It's gonna ask me to cut the thread, but it's really small, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep going. Yep, so from gray, we're gonna go to the little bill, which I'm gonna do kind of like a yellow-orange. So I'm gonna switch out to that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I switched out to like a yellow-orangey color. They do have numbers, but like, you know, you might not have this file. What does it matter? If I was telling you exactly which one it is. But again, these are all sulky 40 weight. They've all been rayon so far, except for I think the black might have been viscose, and you know, whatever. But still 40 weight. Okay, and then after that, it's gonna do the little brim and the little puff on his hat. So they're usually kind of like an off-white, and I guess just so it looks different than the white that we've been using. I don't really have an off-white of this brand, I don't think. So let me go look. Okay, this might be weird, but I'm gonna do green just to really set it off and add some more color anyway. So we're gonna do green puffs, and I think that's it until it goes to the next one. So let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so let me thread this up. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, this is 9 of 18 because it has to do 9 more, right? So press your foot down, and let's go. And I'm gonna have little green puff and green cuff around the hat. So that's it. I'm gonna let it go and I'll be back. Very cute. Now it's doing those little weird wonky bits all around the hat. But you know what, honestly, if you didn't like that look, you can stop right here. It looks really nice the way it's kind of rounded out. But now it's adding like little bits to make it look puffy. It's a cute little detail. I guess that was a little too close, sorry. That is done. I'm not gonna unhoop it until we go to do the next thing. So I'm gonna take this out. Oh, hold on, open the presser foot. I'm gonna go ahead and load up the white Brothread. It's funny, I've been going through and picking out the colors I want, and I'm like, oh, I need a red. And I saw the top of this, I'm like, that looks pretty. I'm like, oh, it looks kind of pink. And so then I looked on their chart, and I'm like, red. I'm like, oh, this one's crimson. And 265, which is exactly what I thought was crimson. But now look at it, it looks very pink. So I'm gonna look for cardinal red, maybe even red, this one. Whatever looks closer to that sulky red so we can have a really good comparison, okay? So let me pick out the colors I need. I already had the white, so I'll probably go ahead and put white on here. It does have a little hole there so we can punch through. So you don't have to like completely rip the whole thing, which is nice because I do like to know the color name, I guess. Or number, should I say? It has a color number. It does have a little knot at the end. I'm going to cut away because you don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and thread this up, the white thread, but I'm going to pick out the other threads that I need so it can go kind of faster. So I just grabbed the other colors, number 2 being black, number 221 being like that grayish kind of gunmetal color. 225 is their red, basic red. This one, 239, is kind of a yellow-orange. I compared it to the sulky one. I thought this one was the closest. And then N226, which is like a green like I used earlier. So we will see. That's as close as, you know, I didn't go through every single color. Maybe there's another one that matches better. I was just kind of looking at them as I went along. So, okay, real quick. So let's put this down. Let's go ahead and let it do its placement stitch. And this time I'm going to do it twice, like I had mentioned before. And what I'm going to do is the second time cut it out and see what that looks like. So let's just press play. Again, you can mess with your machine. And like right now, okay, that was stitch 10, right? And I'll show you how I'm going to do it again. Okay, it's going to cut away, which is fine. Like stop, because it's going to change color. And the reason I didn't change that all to the same color is because it might think, oh, I should just, it should be digitized, the design file, in a way that says cut it off. But what if it doesn't, right? So anyway, I'm going to say, okay, I'm not pressing play here because then it'll go to the next thing. I'm going to go backwards 1. So hopefully you can see that. So there's plus 1, 11 of 18. I want to go back to 10. And now I'm going to take my little piece of felt that I basically cut the same size as the other one. That was a good size, I think. I'm going to put a little stuff on the back of this guy. Lift up the foot. I'm going to bring this in here. And after this one, I'm going to cut it. Okay? So you can do whatever you want, guys. This is your machine, your file, your stuff. So let's press play. It's going to do 10. So it's going to be the placement stitch, but in this, I don't care about that. I'm just going to press play. I'm using it as the tack down. So with applique, you have a placement, you have a tack down, and then you have the satin stitch that finishes it, right? In between the tack down and the satin stitch, you should cut away the fabric. Okay, so it just did that. It stopped. I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to remove it. And now, instead of cutting around when I had the other stuff, because look at this. Can you see the little fluffiness is still there? That's annoying to me. So let's see if this isn't too small, because the other point of this is that maybe it's going to miss something. So I'm just going to go around again very carefully. That's what's nice about the duckbill ones. The duckbill ones stops it so that you can't really cut into the thing. So this one I'm kind of guiding it the way I would need it to be. But I'm going to go around and trim that off. I'll be right back. I get as close as I can, and I actually did snip that stitch right there, but it doesn't matter because this one wasn't even supposed to be there anyway. So, okay, I'm going to put this back in, and I'm just going to go for it because, again, I'm using the same colors for the placement, for the tack down. If I had a paid for subscription, I could have done 2 tack downs. You know, you can manipulate your designs. I could say repeat it or add one or whatever. I don't know why I feel like this thread's going to come out, so I'm going to pull that a little bit. I'm going to put that down. Again, this is the Brothread. Doing great already. Let's press play. So this is going to be that little zigzaggy tack down, which we already did our own, basically, essentially. A lot of these things, you can skip some of these things. They say you didn't want something, just go to the next thing. You don't have to do every little stitch it does. But this is going to be the zigzaggy one, and then from there it's going to do the satin stitch. Now, to be honest, I probably could have, well, knowing if I'm going to do this, I would make those 2 the same color on my file. And maybe if you can manipulate it, say don't switch out the thread after that, but it's better just to let it do its thing. Okay, so it's gonna snip it, but I still want white, so I don't really care. And I'm just gonna say play. It's gonna go 12 to 18. It's gonna do the tack down that didn't really come out, so I'm just gonna say play. And so now it should start doing that satin stitch, and let's see if it looks any better, right? If it was worth doing that extra step. It's finished, and I mean the stitch looks really nice. You know, we're gonna compare it afterwards. Obviously, we'll go to my workspace over there. A little better on that satin stitch than before with the little puffiness that was around it. So yeah, again, if I got a little bit closer, it was probably worth doing it that way I did it. But anyway, all right, let's switch out to the next color, which is number 13, and now I'm just like looking at my little file over here on my computer, and number 13 is the blue, which is actually the face, right? So again, it's blue over there, but I can do whatever I want. So I'm gonna lift this up, and I'm gonna put in some black Brothread, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got the black Brothread in there. I don't want to go through each and everything, and we already did that, so I'm just gonna do this, and then I think I'll fast forward, and you guys know what's going on. Obviously, I'm putting the colors in. I'll show you to prove that I'm using Brothread and go from there, but I'll probably just have a little music over or something and just see me doing the color changes, okay? If anything happens, if thread breaks, I'll let you know. Doing the little fuzzies on that one, and honestly, I mean, it looks really good. No thread breakage. We're gonna take a really good scrutinizing look at it over there in the craft room, but let me just let it finish up, and we're almost there. Okay guys, I think it's finishing. Yeah, there you go. And it's gonna tell me it's done once it's done here. Look how cute. Again, if you were just making the same patch over and over and over, obviously you don't have to manipulate the colors. I did that so that I can only concentrate on Brothread on one, the other. I could have just repeated it a second time. I just did it the way I did it, right? But anyway, you would just let them go, and it's going to do this one, this one, this one, this one. You know, it'll just keep going back and forth with the colors. So anyway, so let's say okay, and it's going to bring it towards me, present me my beautiful little embroideries. How cute. All right, well, let's go unhoop it and all that stuff at my craft room. I will say again, whenever I shut this down, I always pretty much go back to home. I go back to here. I act like I'm going to use something. I say okay, just to get it off the USB, only because it tells you on there, do not let it shut down when the USB's in there. It could damage it. I don't even know. So I press frame, and then I go to the top one, which says 100, 100, whatever size frame you have. Just click on that, and you're going to press the P, which means park it, because you're going to turn it off, okay? And then it does some stuff, and then you say okay, and it'll basically put it back to home row, essentially. And now I just go back to the house, and I turn it off. And that's how I shut it down. But anyway, let's go to my craft. Remember I said my bobbin was almost done? There's still some on there. That's probably enough to do one tiny little thing, but you probably want to go ahead and wind a new bobbin and get that going. It's so see-through because it's basically cutaway stabilizer. What I'm going to do is go ahead and go through and cut out or cut all these little threads that maybe I didn't get earlier, because I know this one went under the little face, the little bill part. Again, that's why they tell you to cut them, and I'm like, oh, I'll cut it later, but sometimes they end up in the design, right? So there you go. So I'm just going to go around and cut these guys. Oh, this one just had to pull up because it was at the end. Same thing with this guy. So let me just go in there, trim these things away. best I can. I have a little green one here, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so those are our colors. This is what we have. These are the sulky ones. This is the Brothread. Like I said, I try to match as well as I could. Sorry, my lighting has something weird going, like right here. Yeah, it's pretty close. As far as density, I mean, it essentially looks exactly the same to me. It's so funny how this had little like black threads here and there, and this one did the same thing. A couple more pulled up. You know, does it have to do with the density of the thread or how good they are? Maybe. I would say I feel like I can see this little wavy pattern better in here. But used to, I don't know. What do you guys think? It's negligible difference, but there is more light coming off of this. But again, maybe this little red is a little bit different shade. When I put them down right here, I can kind of see it better than when I had it up close to you guys. Look at the density of that one. This one looks a little bit stretched. Not sure what that's about. Isn't that weird? Doesn't it look a little more stretched? The little tiny bits. I think it's pretty good, guys. I'm going to call it good. A couple things you can do to fix these things up is you can run a little flame, like these little bits that maybe you got close but not close enough, and it's so hard to get even closer to get those little remnants of like little threads. You can take a flame and just go over it real quick, like super quick. And so the very little bits will like shrink back. But I'm talking about quick, okay guys, you don't want to damage that. Let's go ahead and unhoop it again. Boop. And I suppose, you know, like I said, if I had cut this with a die cutting machine, maybe that would be better. Again, this is cutaway, obviously on the back. I would say you can clean up all these threads. It's funny when I look at those patches that my son got, or I got for my son at that place, the competition. They're all still there. They're just there and then stuck down with, you know, the little sticky stuff we're going to put on the back of this. So anyway, you can clean up as much or as little as you like. This is cutaway, so probably going to take a bigger scissor and try to get close. This is probably not the best scissor. This is like a craft one, but that's not bad. I have a nice set of Ginger scissors that my sister gave me a long time ago. That'll do it. Anyway, so you're going to go in. Oh, let's not forget. You know what? I'm going to mark on the back. Let's put a B on the back of this one for Brothread, like here, so it doesn't show up. So see how it has like an ugly little stain, even though it doesn't look like a B. There you go. And you're going to cut super close. So I will say, I think trimming it down or doing the two placements might have been better. I can see a lot of fuzz over here. This one only has a little bit at the very top, but the rest of it looks pretty good. You know, I don't know. So I'm going to go through and get super close without hitting your stitches and try to trim that away. And the other thing is that this stuff is very responsive to heat as far as like flame. So what you do is you get as close as you can. You know, I have some little fluffy here. And then when you're done, you hit it on the very sides. I know some people leave still quite a bit because I guess they're afraid to get too close. But I'm like, well, then that's just that much more you have to burn away, you know? So I try to get as close as I can. I'm not afraid. I am afraid to burn it, but I'm not afraid of this part. Okay, so I'll do the same thing with the second one. But see, we got pretty close right here. There's felt there, so I'm going to try to get closer and see if I can get rid of that felt. And sometimes people leave the felt as part of the design. Like, let it stick around, you know? Like, make an edge of felt. So, I have this guy that's like a real torch. That one scares me, but I want to show you. See how it just goes away, but now it's burning? Okay. So this one is the one from the dollar store that is much nicer. Like, and it doesn't burn so hot. Is there a way to lower this? I thought there was. I don't see it, so I guess that's it. Interesting. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so I'm going to go around the very edge here and just really quickly do a little something like that. Because you know you have polyester threads or rayon or whatever they might be that will also react to this. So you just want to do that as nicely as you can without damaging your little threads, okay? So I'm going to trim this one out same way. I'll be right back. This one, I'm going to cut it. There's tons of felt. So the second tack down, you know, being your placement, actually worked really well because there's only a few areas where I had some felt. And yeah, just don't be afraid, you know, with the little flame. Just really see what you're doing and just run it right over that and you'll be good to go. Okay. Actually, I'm going to use this scrap in just a minute. So this, you know, cut away, I know it looks like little bits. You can float this, like if you have a small design or whatever, just kind of pop it in there if you need it. So don't throw those away when you have like a good size bit, you know. I'll be right back. I can't believe it. And it's really fun, actually, when you still flame, because you're just watching it shrink back, and then you can kind of pat it, and it really just finishes things off. So that's the back of these guys. Interesting, this one pulled a lot of thread down in here. Do you see that? That's actually not great. It's okay, but interesting that the tension looks different. And, you know, do with that info what you will, but the bro one actually looks nicer. That is quite interesting. Let me show you a little up closer. Okay, so let's get some stickiness on the back of this so we can use it. You can just sew that right onto something. It doesn't have to be that. You can make it a keychain, whatever you're gonna do with these things. But let me go get, I need my ultra sticky stuff. I forget what they call it. I'll show it to you in just a moment. And then I'm gonna bring a towel, and I'm gonna heat up a iron here too. So I know I have a Husky desk under this, so like my desk is from Home Depot, and it's a huge like work table that has like a crank that you can lift it up and down, which is awesome, like hydraulics almost. So I'm not afraid of whatever's under here. And then we have a heat mat, so or whatever you want to call this, healing mat. It's okay. I'm not. Well, you'll see. I'll be right back. So I do have my iron on. It says to do it on a medium heat, which I think is interesting, but I have this little iron, so I guess I'll go medium, even though I feel like that's weird. Hold on, if that's minimum, let's go here. I don't know. I've had this little guy forever. Basically I bought it to do perler beads with my daughter, and so there you go. I have my little guy from when we did the applique the other day. Isn't he cute? Or is she adorable? Okay, so we have that thing warming up, and it's funny because it says to put on the back and only go over for 2 seconds, which is weird. But it does say times listed above are for cotton. For thicker fabrics, additional time may be required. You know, and that talking about when you go to put it onto whatever thing. You can put this on a hat, you can put it on a backpack, a jacket, shirts, you know, whatever it is. And everyone always recommends to go ahead and also sew it. Like, it's not good enough to just use this stuff. But the initial tack down, I think, you know, obviously it's great for that. And the other people have better luck. When's the last time you washed the hat? If you stick this on a hat, I don't know. I just think that, yeah, it's fine. So, Ultra Hold, guys. I know they have different types. You want the red one. I will link it for you. And then you can do what you will with that info. But I don't, next time I'm gonna buy it in a roll. I do not like things that are like this. This is weird. But I don't need that much, right, for these two, both these guys, and they can be right next to each other. So I'm just gonna cut a piece. Clearly the paper is gonna be facing towards the back. You want this all over. You don't have to give any extra. I mean, you can definitely just cut a little circle and stick that on there. But you want the back of your patches facing this rough side, obviously the shiny side. The paper side is just going to be there. Sometimes my son buys patches for band, and it'll have like, the paper will be there, sometimes the paper's not there, you know, sometimes it falls off, it's fine. I'm just going to turn this over, but what I'm going to do is stick it onto one of these guys. Like if I have this little scrap that I can't really do anything else with anyway, I might as well put it on here, because that adhesive is going to stick to something, so you can protect your ironing board or whatever surface. Let me see if this one will work for us. This one works for us just at the very end. Interesting. Okay, I don't know that this is hot enough. To me, medium, excuse me, to me, like, medium heat seems like just not enough, but it says medium. I'm not gonna, maybe I'll push it a little more, a little hotter. Okay, and 2 seconds. I'm gonna do one at a time, even though I can see them both here, but maybe not. Okay, I'm just gonna go over both of them and see what happens. So literally, I'm just trying to make sure I'm hitting all the spots, 1,000, 2, 1,000. I mean, it's already been more than 2 seconds. I don't want to do more than they said. Oh, that's funny. I told you this stuff is heat, reacts to heat. There you go. Let's see. Oh, and it does say to let it cool. So honestly, I think it did its job. Yeah, I think 2 seconds will do it. There you go. There's those little guys. Let it cool, because if you try to peel it off right now, you're going to peel off the glue from this guy, you know what I'm saying? So let's just let it chill. This is a little work towel. I know it's very cute with my little guy on there, but I don't mind having mussed him up a little bit. Maybe next time don't be so chintzy with this stuff. I don't think I've ever turned this guy off. Does it turn off? I think turn off is unplugging. So I'm gonna go unplug it. Again, no water, no steam. You know, you just want medium heat, and that honestly looks like it worked really well. Let me go unplug it before I burn myself. So it's pretty cool to the touch. I'm just going to peel it this way, like forward. Nope. I'm going to try to take this off is basically what I'm trying to do. There we go. And there'll be a little extra around this, so we'll take care of that in a minute. But a lot of it's stuck over here. And so with this, again, you can go around and cut it. You can take it off the carrier, you can leave it on the carrier, whatever it is that you think, but I'm going to go around the very edges. That stuff is going to melt away anyway. And you can also, like I say, if you take it off the carrier, just hit it with the heat tool, with your little flame, and it will go away. Not that it goes away, it just shrinks back. Honestly, that whole hitting it with the heat tool on the edges looks really cute because what it does is it just seals it so nicely. Like it feels nice and rigid on the very edges. Okay, so there's that little guy. And if you peel this on the very back, it will have your sticky, sorry, see? And that comes off. I just leave it because it looks cute, but you know, if you want to take it off, just take it off. You can just peel it, soften, that stickiness will go with it, but the stickiness that, you know, didn't have anywhere to stick. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one out. Okay, guys, so lots to learn today. How to make some patches with the most basic things. I think you would have probably all these things if you have stabilizer, you know, you have cutaway, you have tearaway. Again, the water soluble, people use all different things. I don't mind having this on here because it is there for a little bit of stability, but the felt is really doing its job, right? The felt is what's really the pin or the badge. I'm trying to see which one is the Brothread, and I have a feeling it's this one, because remember how this one had a lot of extra? I think I see the little B that I wrote on there. Let's see. Yeah. So this is the Brothread. Perfect. Had no problems with it. It says it's 40 weight. I believe that to be true. This is the Sulky. Again, it's just a really, I mean, it's a bargain. It's like 50 cents or less for a spool, right? 500 meters. And these are usually, if they're not on sale, what, $6.99? Less than that if they're on sale, but you're not going to find them generally for 50 cents. So again, you know, everyone has their thing. You know, as you just really scrutinize it and have a good idea of what you think about these guys. But I will be using both of them, and I'll probably interchange them and all that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people are like, no, you stick with one, but they're the same weight, so generally they should be interchangeable. Like, it's not a big deal. Hopefully you guys learned something again about how to do this simply and easily, basically with the things you have. If you want to start, you know, using plastic or ultra solvy or like the thicker, you know, these kinds of things, go for it. There's lots of different materials you can use, the way it looks. I think the next video I'll do will be the infill kind, the kind like I showed you with the little silhouettes of those girls, because that one, it stitches its own background and the satin stitch, and then, you know, you have a design or maybe some words or whatever you want to do. But we'll follow up with that one at a different time, and I'll use like different backings so you can kind of see what that looks like or what that might be. All right, guys, thanks for watching. A lot of info. I know my videos are very long, but I want everything to be super clear, and if I run into a problem, you will definitely know, and maybe that'll help you out when you run into that same problem. So, all right, guys, I'll see you all at the next one. Links as pertinent in the description box, and I'd appreciate if you use them again. Thanks, guys. I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.